I'll do a couple takes. You know me, I'm 12 take Kipper. Why do something once great when you can do it 12 times? All right.
Canada's Drag Race, what works and what doesn't work.
Hey, Mooses.
Hey! It's all her fault. This is what... She had some hits and she had some misses with Canada's Drag Race.
Girl, she had some hits. And she had some misses. And not Mrs. Cracker or Mrs. Tasha Davis. Oh my goodness.
Overall, Canada's Drag Race was a great season.
I loved it.
It was refreshing.
Yes, it had all the stuff we've been missing on our season.
Yeah, no, overall, Canada's Drag Race, fantastic.
Absolutely. Yep.
Like, everything we wanted.
Everything. In the others, like the things that it showed me what's missing from the later seasons of our Drag Race. I also at every time, no matter what was going on, this cast respected each other.
Yes.
You could feel. No matter, I said, even the moments that they came together and the moments it fell apart, there was a respect for each other that I just, they were in it together, and I
very Canadian.
Yeah, very Canadian. Yeah, that's why we don't have it. We never had it. What am I fantasizing about? But there was a camaraderie and a respect there, and
there really was.
Yep.
Even with like the little like snippy moments like between one or two of the queens, it was all like a girl. You know what? I'm sorry. I know you're going through a lot, and this competition is hard, and we are in this together. Like this, we are like the dream team. Like we're paving the way, and we need to set this example. And it's such an honor, and I feel like they really understood that honor and that responsibility almost.
Absolutely. I mean, they were the inaugural season because you had to be the best to start this out right. And they other than, kind, they kind of were. Kind is the Canadian Derek Barry.
Yes. Oh, God. Yes. Hands down. But yeah, no, that was one of the things that I had that worked was the cast.
I mean, when you think about how right off the bat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 talk about their struggle with addiction and their triumph over it. And then on the second episode, Anastasia Nakwe's coming in, and not only did she talk about her friends getting shot, her getting shot, she said something that I immediately started to fill up with too. When she said, "I am filled with rage," what an honest moment. I mean, what an absolute honest moment. And I don't think when have we ever heard something like that on television? Where it's not like, I got shot, and she's like, I am filled with rage. And I thought, yeah. It was such an honest, such an honest season. And even the catty fights, there was like a glint in the eye, and people were like, kind of like, we're doing this. I was very refreshed by the beauty of the we of this season. They really had a we are doing it, and I like that.
I did too. I will also say, to highlight like the cast, was it was like, yes, the U.S. is a melting pot, but Canada. But Canada is a huge melting pot. Like, I know a lot of people that have moved from the Caribbean to Canada, and hearing Anastasia Nakwe's story and her talking about, like how they kind of like, was it her or Tainomi, where they kind of like sought refuge?
Yeah, it was her.
Right?
Yeah.
Because some parts of the Caribbean are so homophobic that yeah, you in Jamaica, they're like, don't come around here with that mess. Like, they will shoot you. And so I loved that it really displayed like that culture, like, and they brought their culture through their drag the way Priyanka did with her West Indian. You know, they talk about pum pum, and I'm like, all right, this, like, it gave me a very like extra flavor that I don't get a lot from, you know, regular RuPaul's Drag Race.
Right, yeah. We saw faces that we would never see on, or have not yet seen and should.
Yeah.
And stories that we have not seen but should.
Because I know, like, Monet Exchange spoke about her experience briefly living in St. Lucia, but she didn't really go into it like that. But she has mentioned it as well, but it was just really interesting to hear them speak about it. And then when they had the makeover challenge and they brought in, you know, those refugees, like, I don't really want to, I don't think they're called refugees, but those people that sought refuge in Canada. And I just thought that program was so amazing. I never even heard of that. I thought that was beautiful.
Yes.
I really liked that melting pot. And there was a lot of reference to a lot of different types of cultures that probably wouldn't really make sense if you're not from like a West Indian background, or you know. So I was living when they did the first music challenge, the singing challenge, and Priyanka was talking about in her track, she's like pum pum, and I'm like, girl, they don't know what pum pum means.
Right.
But I'm like, you know what? Bring it to us. Bring it to the new audience.
Teach us. Teach us. Feed that.
So I did enjoy that. So we definitely got a really an introduction to the Canada drag scene. Yeah. Because you can also see that they were like in the we, but there was also kind of like a slight segregation. It's like, oh, you're over in Montreal.
Wait,
you know?
Every country has a New York Queens. Like, they're all like, this isn't Toronto's drag. I'm like, what? That was season 8. Oh, and then it was season 10. Like, it could be Mobile, Alabama's drag race, and they'd be like, you're from East Mobile. Wow, I was like, no matter where you go, there is a New York Queens gang. And Toronto was it this season.
Yeah. And that's when I didn't like Rita Bega at first. So I'm like, girl, calm down. Why you mad? Because this is not Toronto's drag race. You know? And I was like, oh, I'm not going to like her. She sounds like she's going to be so disagreeable and miserable about everything. Yeah. But then you realize you're like, she's got a point.
She does.
Like, let us learn more, like, because that's all we know about Canada. There's only Toronto.
Right.
We know Celine Dion's from Canada, but we don't know exactly where. We just know she speaks French.
She has 75 brothers and sisters, and she was the youngest, and she was on an island that was on a farm that was on another boat. And it's like, okay, we got it. And your husband was 90. Okay, all right. End of Behind the Music for Celine Dion.
Exactly. So I appreciated that.
I really felt like that they let the queens do the how do I want to say it? The queens got to tell their story. The story didn't tell the queens. There's like it was I think you said refreshing. It was so that's what we need. That was what we need for us in RuPaul's Drag Race. America. It was a far superior show in that aspect. But in other aspects,
no, I felt like even though the challenges kind of felt like things we had seen before, they still felt kind of fresh to me. Right. Like they felt new. Like, yeah, we know drag on a dime, drag out of these things, but they kind of felt like new to me. Like, oh, I've never seen this before. Like it didn't feel like they were running out of ideas for challenges.
Not about
to me.
Yep.
The lip syncs. I loved the lip syncs. I love that they were full songs and not like 20 seconds. Did you realize the lip syncs were longer?
Wait, yes. That I agree with. It was like, I mean, because you get like, my anaconda don't.
And it's done.
And it's not like this was. Yeah, I was really caught up in the moment of the lip syncs.
I also loved that the Untucked was included in the episode.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
I don't need to spend 30 minutes watching y'all sip a drink and talk about your feelings.
That was a perfectly edit. Like, here's the episode. Here's the thing. Here's the like. It was perfect. That's what. Maybe we don't
kept
need
it
like.
going.
I don't know if we need an Untucked. Remember the season that they did? The Untucked was 15 minutes and it was on YouTube only.
Yes.
Like season 7. Mm-hmm. Even that, like, just shove it in the show. Those are the more important parts. We don't want to see like that Blair St. Clair can't dance and then the like back off. Like we all know what happens. Like I want to see the people, and that's what they did.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I did love that. I also loved that the guest judges got to we got to see them like walk the runway like they were the RuPaul of the episode.
Yeah.
And I like that they introduced the episode. Like, you know, like welcome to Canada's Drag Race. I'm Natalie Opoku, and on today's episode, blah 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 blah, as gentlemen, start your engines and may the best woman win. Like, I like it because we don't have RuPaul. I like that it wasn't just like Brooklyn or Stacey or Jeffrey giving that intro. I really liked that.
I like that it wasn't Brooklyn too.
So that I will say I did like that. And if I want to throw something else in there, I love that Michelle Visage showed up
right
for an episode. I take it.
Right.
I'll take Michelle any day.
And she was bawdy that day. What doesn't work? So I actually, and it might be because remember, it was kind of my complaint with the All-Star season, and I need us to stop with the nonsense music. I need us to ante up the loonies for the hits, and like I don't want to see like all these like. Wait, did I? No, there wasn't any like. Moment.
I felt like the songs were better compared to
Avril
what we
Lavigne?
had on All Stars 5, though. Think about the All Stars 5 songs that were like songs we'd never like songs. Like you said, you got the rights to Rihanna. Why are you playing this song? Like, you know what I mean? But at least with Canada's Drag Race, like they got the rights to like an artist and they picked a song that we know and can sing along to.
They were Canadian artists.
But they did get Canadian artists.
They did?
Yeah.
I just hit me. Wait.
The representation.
They got Canadian artists. Yeah. But it was like, I didn't feel that the lip sync, like the first lip sync ever between Lemon and they're like, now that's what a lip sync for your life really is. And I'm like,
no.
Who did that? Juice Box. It was just tedious. I mean, I was waiting for like there to be a moment where like it was just so we didn't have a shut up and drive. We didn't have a cold hearted snake. I wanted that moment so badly.
I think those days are done, Kip. I think we have to accept the fact that those are the legends, the lip sync legends, and we'll never get them again because the music is just not that great.
But I mean, even like Brooklyn and Evie, they had their backbend crazy moment.
Yeah, that's true.
Like the performances for the lip sync for your life were lacking for me. I felt like I didn't understand why people were going yes, but I could be old and bitter and have seen 14 seasons.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I will say the lip syncs weren't anything that like standing ovation. But I like that I could kind of bask in the lip sync.
Yeah.
Like, I remember the first one and I expected it to be over. And I was like, oh well, I guess Lemon won. No, I was like, because Lemon hadn't pulled out any of her dancing tricks yet, considering she was a dancer. And I was like, oh well, I guess Juicebox won this one. And then the song kept going and I was like, they're actually playing the whole song.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, it's giving them a chance to, like, pull out more tricks and not feel like, I gotta get this in, like, 1 minute of the song.
Right.
Even though, like, the chorus doesn't come in until, like, 3 minutes in. Like, you know, like, I felt like... But I get it. They weren't, like, memorable.
Yeah.
I agree. But I enjoyed the length of the lip sync, because the lip sync is a big part of the Drag Race competition, and I like that some of the songs were like songs I actually knew that I could sing along to, and some of them weren't. But
Right.
that's because they were artists that we don't know.
I could never figure out who was winning. That's another. I was like, they stayed. Like, I could never quite figure out. Like, I felt that who lip synced when they were the Knights.
Tainomi and Ilona.
Tainomi gave everything, and like they sent her home. It was shocking.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they like in Canada. Maybe they don't like fast arm movements and feet tapping or that.
But that's where this next part comes in. The worst part of this entire season, in my opinion, was the judging. And not because everybody else thinks that, but because it's the truth. And not to be catty, Brooklyn, who is Brooklyn to come and judge me, and she didn't even win a crown? You didn't even win your season, honey.
When she came out and started talking about what to do during an acting challenge, and I'm like, do you remember how you acted in the it was such a shock to have her be the mentor, maybe I think RuPaul hated her secretly, and she was like, Brooklyn, are you free to host like they knew it was going to be a thankless job for anybody, yeah, I don't know. It was a tough panel. I
like Stacey.
I did too, but she's got...
Stacey gave me mixed... She was not consistent with her judging.
No, but I liked her, but I don't know if, like, they felt like they needed, like... Because she's not... her voice, like, she's not outrageous, so I felt like they were trying to up the outrage. Like, she could have been the host. Like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she was the only one on that panel that at least tried to build the girls up a little bit. And you're not here. Michelle will tell you, this ain't a competition for us to tell you how great you are and that's all. Like, we're here to critique you. Like, that's the job. But I feel like Stacey was the most fair of the judges.
She's the Canadian Merle.
Yes, she was like a Merle. Oh God, yes.
Well, she was just so happy to be there. Like, there was this kind of electricity with her. Like, she was just as impressed with all of it as we are.
Yes.
Like, we're like, wow, and there was a love there.
I was gonna say, I love when she taught them. She was doing the runway walks with them, and she was living. She was but she gave good advice. Like, did you see the change in Priyanka's walk?
Yes.
After she like got that little mentor, whatever it was, mentoring.
Yeah.
But continue.
Well, and I also they kept Brooklyn's remember when Brooklyn was like, well, I wish there would have been some underpants under there, and Lemon was like, when she made the dress, Lemon's like, oh well, never mind. I'm like, why did you keep that in?
She's like, well, fuck my drag.
Fuck my drag, right? And I'm proud. Could you imagine? She's carrying a mantle that she probably feels so strongly on her. Like, she's the the Queen of the North, and she's co-hosting the show. But it's like she should have either been tough, or I don't know, not on at all.
I just think they either need to, like you said, she needs to be tough. She needs to be like the Michelle Visage.
She needs to be the right chair.
Yeah. They need a new person in the center.
They need a host. Like, I don't even care. Like, mustache guy. Remember, like, mustache guy from the little video we did? What's his name? He should have been when he came out and he did his like bit. I'm like, that should be the host of, like, just turn it on its ear. Let that guy host because he had the charisma,
the charisma
to keep everything going. And then you could still have him, and you could still have, like, Brooklyn at either the right chair or the left chair, and then whatever one she's not, have Mark David Bean Brooke Chapman do. Jeffrey Katzenberg, Chapman Lowe.
No.
Have him be the opposite of whatever that is. Because it was hard because I think he was in an unenviable position. They wanted him to be,
And that's what I hated.
But he's a true fan, so he kind of oscillated, so it made his stings hurt even more.
And I think I don't know who wanted that. The producers, his manager, his PR person. But it was too forced.
Yes.
And that was my problem with Jeffrey.
Yep.
Jeffrey has been a guest judge on Drag Race, 3 times?
Yeah.
2-3 times? And he was never like that.
Yeah.
And so to see, like you said, he was a fan, and I understand, but he was a judge whenever he came to Drag Race. So you can be a fan and be a judge. But being now a main judge on Canada's Drag Race, it was too forced.
Right.
It was like a persona that they were trying to push so hard that it was such a turn off.
Right.
Because it just was not the raccoon makeup, like.
I mean, even his most, like, famous critiques were just, they almost did, against Jimbo, who came out having made every single outfit, and his critique was, we all at the same time use it better. It didn't fit. Like, it was almost, I was like, wait, was this edited in? Did they just give him a bunch of mean things to say, and they put that one in? I mean, it wasn't. But, I just think that they should soften, like, let him be,
I think they should let him be Jeffrey. Jeffrey that guest judges on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah.
Don't make him, he's, don't try to make him like Carson Kressley, Ross Matthews, and Michelle all mixed up in one.
Right.
It's not gonna work like that. He needs to be like the Carson Kressley or the Ross Matthews.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's not really a good thing to say. It shouldn't be like someone else, but he should be himself. And I know whatever he was portraying on that season, who am I to say that's not him? And he's maybe been more reserved in the past, but it just felt like he was being forced to put this on for the ratings.
I believe he was. Yep, I believe that 100%.
And it backfired because then look at how he's getting really bullied. Like, he's getting horribly like his reputation.
Yeah.
And it sucks for a competition.
And the contestants are coming out in his defense, saying, hey, this is somebody who loved us, loved Drag Race, probably dreamt of this, and, should he return, you're going to see an edited version of him. Like, this was not, like, the contestants are saying that it's not even that serious.
He should definitely come back as himself.
Yeah, there was no clear casting. Like, they were all, they were all kind of like, we're too cool, like, we're cooler than you. It had that air about it, and that's not what it should have. You need to have the heart, which I think is Jeffrey. Need to have the critiques that, and that was Merle, Canadian Merle. Stacey, who I, definitely think should have a bigger role. And then let Brooklyn be like the one who's been there, and she's been there. She needs to be the one that's like, no, girl. Just give the clear character lines, and then it won't feel so, because it felt very oppressive.
It really did, and it almost felt like by the time we got into like the 4th or 5th episode, like they were like, try some Ruisms. Like, I feel like they were telling Jeffrey, because then he started to do the shoulder thing. Scarlett Bobo, when it comes to da 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 da, you are da 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 da. maybe you should do that. Like, it was just, I was like, that's Ruth's thing.
That's Ruth's thing.
Stop
No.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it. Still, and again, it's the inaugural season, and you know, just like Santino and Merle, like they were all finding their like thing.
God.
And
we sat through 6 seasons of Santino, so that like I hope that they don't make any rash decisions with Jeffrey. I want to see him back, and I just want to see him be him. He might be like, I'm done. This was too much. This was very, you know.
I feel like the backlash, but he may also be a fighter. He may be someone that's not going to back down. I want to believe he's one that's going to be like, I'm not. Guess what? People are still going to watch the if Jeffrey comes back, people are still going to watch the show.
Absolutely.
It's not going to affect the ratings because they want to see the new queens.
Yeah. Nobody's going to boycott the show because they don't like hot Jeffrey.
Please.
Yeah, and shame on Brooklyn. We should be talking about how much we hate Brooklyn. So she didn't give anything. Like, she just kind of hung back. Like, if you're going to be Brooklyn Heights and you're going to be hosting, like, you be the outrageous. Like, go, stand in front of your judges. But because she's, like, is so kind of, like, she's so milquetoast. You know, Jeffrey, like, she let poor Jeffrey out there, like, to be hurt and schemed at by all of us and reddited about. I was thinking, like, who else could do it, you know, or would do it? Alaska is not going to go host Canada's Drag Race because of her work commitments with, you know, the podcast. And
but that would be amazing.
Well, Alaska, the heir apparent in my mind is Alaska.
She is a 100% hardcore fan of the show. She's been a contestant. She understands the show, the formula, the contestants, what to look for.
Yep. I just need, you know, if you're going to be Brooklyn Heights, you need to be the presence. Like, be stronger.
But Brooklyn wasn't even like that on her season, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
She doesn't have that much personality. I mean, I loved her on her season, but that's because she was a dancer and she slayed and she walked on point shoes, and I was the point shoes mesmerized me, and I missed everything else.
Right.
And then once the season was over. Once the season was over, I was like, oh.
She's a bitch.
She's
a boring ass bitch.
Yeah. Exactly.
Do you remember her reveal in the finale when she like pulled off the toe?
The toe.
But in the moment you're like gagged, and then you're thinking about it, and then when you like stand back and you just her whole reveal went like this. Wait, like two little things. I'm like, this is hysterical. I'm like, if there was a sound effect, she would have been booed off the stage. Boing.
But that's the thing you gotta bring to the. Now that you're like hosting, like that's the. Or what is it? Yeah, that's the thing you gotta bring to the show. Like, I guess what? I didn't win my season, but this competition isn't easy, and I know that.
Right.
Like, and that's why I'm here, because I want you guys to represent.
Yep.
And like, it was just kind of like, remember you guys, it's Canada's Drag Race and you're representing.
Oh, her voice. There was no presence. Like, it was like, hi guys, so let me tell you. I'm like, oh my God, she's got the vocal fry and the rhyme and meter of an 11-year-old opera singer. It was just too much.
But you know what? Overall, all that aside, they managed to pull out a pretty dang good season of Canada's Drag Race.
I mean, we're talking about it.
We are.
Yeah,
with a few tweaks. I could never host RuPaul's. I could never host Drag Race. Yeah. I don't have that personality to host Drag Race. Like, I know that. Like, I'm willing to admit that. Like, I'm just a fan. I'm not someone you want to see on your screen every week hosting. I'd be a guest judge, but
right.
Because I know that's not easy. And to kind of step into the shoes of, like, RuPaul and be yourself, it's not easy, but...
True. And RuPaul
You gotta be yourself, sorry. You gotta be yourself.
No, exactly.
Be yourself. Like, go all in. Don't half-ass it.
Yeah. Yeah, RuPaul came to Drag Race as a fully formed RuPaul. She wasn't, but like, and you think about it, like, how many seasons did it take her to get some of the things that we now know? Bring Back My Girls. Like, How many? Bringing the girls back. Um, Go get me the girls. Like it was not as like tooled as it was, but and Brooklyn is just doing this for the very first time. It's not like she's like some. So yeah, a few tweaks, and somebody needs to throw some money at that show. Like they now deserve a bigger budget. I want better lighting, better cameras. I want throw some money at that show because it's worth it.
It is for sure. So you're hosting next season?
Well, I didn't want to tell you, but everybody has the same amount of time to host, and they should have used theirs better.
Yes!
My God.
You're so good!
They were like, do it again. Like, I know that didn't come out of his mouth organically. Like, he probably cried a little after they cut camera. They're like, do the thing.
I look forward to another season.
I do too.
We gotta wait because we got all this like Corona stuff happening. So yeah. Well, we'll
RuPaul's
see.
Corona track. Like it could be like everybody's 6 feet apart and everything's all about masks, like Valentina.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a whole
I'd like
season
to
of
keep it
masks.
on, please.
Get Valentina to host it. Corona COVID-19's Drag Race, hosted by,
Melissa, are you writing that down?
Melissa. She has been slacking this one, Melissa. Melissa, we don't pay you nothing for you to do nothing. No, I loved it. This was just the thing I needed. It was like a palate cleanser. Like it was sorbet after sushi. It was perfect.
It was, especially knowing how like you just don't know what's gonna happen for the future of like any show, anything.
Right.
You're just like, oh God, well please, let's just at least take what we have left.
Yeah.
And at least if we're gonna go out, let's go out with a bang.
Absolutely.
Something good. So I totally appreciated that. So yeah, that was Canada's Drag Race Season 1.
I know. Good show, guys. Good show. What do they
Nailed
say?
it.
Yeah, what do they say? What's that thing that they say in Canada? Oh, yeah. Americans, get out.
Hey.
Wait, did you watch it and you were like, they are a more elevated being? Like, you think about, like, America and we're just beeping our horns and yelling, and they're just...
No, for real.
I was like, what is this planet?
No, I legit was like, so how do I move to Canada?
Right? Well, I know how I'm going to. I'm going to marry Jimbo.
Can we clone Rue at this point?
Yeah,
So poor little Kipper doesn't have to ask.
Right? Is she dead? My poor 8-year-old. Is she sick? Nat, is she sick? I'm like, call Nat. Ask her that question right now before you lose it. And he was so confused. That was amazing. That was an amazing. Bitch.
I live for that cameo.
Right? Ladies and gentlemen,
Your reaction.
Cookie.
You know what the plot twist is? You don't have any kids.
Right? It's all right. They're all in my head.
Ghost.
Yeah.
Even though we had seen some of the... You look so worried. Are you okay?
Bitch. The dog is going by now. This is my moment. This